Welcome to r/best of Redditor updates, where OP is being sued over a joke she told. Our next Reddit post is from r/marriage. We've been married 5 years. No kids, both 30. Both professionals. I was happy. I thought that she was too. Things have been tense between us lately, and I'm not sure why. Then, she sits me down for a talk this past Tuesday. I thought she was finally going to tell me what was bothering her. Instead, she gave me a "we're still young and we can try new things" speech. Then asked me for an open marriage. I was not prepared for that and was just stunned. I couldn't come up with anything to say. I was just shocked at the request. I think she was encouraged and kept selling it to me. By the time she paused for a response, I'd gotten my head together. I was pissed, but kept completely calm and told her in no uncertain terms I was not okay with this. We went back and forth for a little bit, and the conversation began getting angry, so we both agreed to put it on the shelf for later when we were calm. You could reach out and touch the bad energy in the house after that. We spoke again last night, and it didn't go well. She was really selling it hard. Talked down my objections, called me jealous and controlling, and a bunch of other things I probably shouldn't repeat. It really blew up when I finally agreed to it, but did it in a very nasty way. She took the win though and said, "It'll make our marriage stronger." I told her, no, this ends with us divorced. She was instantly angry again and asked why I would say that. I told her this goes one of two ways. She'll hook up with other men and I'll hate her for it. And even if that doesn't happen, I'll start dating and meet a woman that wants to have a monogamous relationship with me, and I'll leave you for her, 100%. She completely lost it at that point, threw a glass at me, and cursed me out so loud the neighbors came to see what was going on. I told her if she gets this angry because I'm not okay with my wife passionately hugging other men, maybe we should just skip all the BS and separate right now. That's where this is going anyways. I was furious at this point. I grabbed my phone, car keys, and left. She was still screaming at me as I drove away. So now I'm at the Holiday Inn. I went to the liquor store next door and bought a bottle of Knob Creek and was up half the night drinking it by the pool on ice from a styrofoam cup. Then I walked to the room and passed out. I woke up an hour ago and I've been sitting in the room thinking over my whole effing life and where it went wrong. She's called me more than 20 times, but I have nothing to say to her right now. And even if we did talk, where do we even begin to fix this? Can this be fixed? Is going back to talk to her even a good idea? I don't even see what good can come of it. Maybe it really is time to be talking to lawyers. We've always gotten along so well that I'm at a loss for what to do next. I don't want a divorce, but she's asking for something that I can't give. Then, 9 hours later, OP posted an update. I went home and we spoke for a few hours. You guys were right. There's someone else. Someone she works with. She said that she hasn't done anything yet, but wants to. He's in an open marriage, or so she says. I wonder if his wife knows that. Anyway, even after all that's happened, she still wouldn't let go of it. She said that I'll never even know what's happening. She won't let it interfere with our lives. Does she seriously think that makes it okay? She actually said that this would make her a better partner. She said she still loves me and wants to be with me. I was just looking at her wondering who the hell this person is and what happened to my wife. I told her there's a word for that, and she's lost her mind if she thought that I would tolerate it. I told her that she's chosen him, and now we're done. I told her I would contact her next week to discuss details. I packed up more of my stuff and went back to the hotel. Our finances are mostly separated, and the house is a rental, thank God. I froze the joint credit cards and the joint savings. Is there anything else I need to do? I still can't effing believe this has happened. 8 years together, 5 married, and it's completely destroyed in one day over pure selfishness. I'm gonna finish that bottle and hope tomorrow will be better. I doubt it, but at least it won't be worse. Then more updates in the comments. I called her folks. She's there and has already told them what she wanted them to hear. I knew right away when her mom said, "This is a misunderstanding, we can work it out." It didn't get any better from there. The upshot is if she's there, she's not home, so I can go get more of my stuff. Then, 4 days later, OP posted an update. I'm moving back home today. I have a lawyer and she's drafted an in-home separation agreement. basically separating our finances. I met with my wife and my mother-in-law last night and we talked it all over. My wife is still insisting nothing's happened between her and the other guy. She regrets the open marriage suggestion and is promising full transparency on the phone and iPad. She's saying everything someone who's trying to save their marriage should. She promised to find a new job if I want. She seems sincere. She told my mother-in-law the truth, that she asked for an open marriage. I guess my wife knew that I would tell my mother-in-law if she didn't. Her mother said that she wasn't raised that way. She really seems sincere, which makes it hard to reconcile with the way that she went absolutely crazy last Friday when I refused to agree to the open marriage. I've agreed to counseling. The lawyer is still preparing a divorce petition that can be filed at any time. I've made it clear that we are not okay, that I have one foot out the door. If this marriage can be saved, she needs to be the one to do it. I've met her part of the way, but she still needs to come most of the way. And I will never agree to any poly nonsense. Not what I signed up for. I told her plainly that if that's what she wants, let's save each other a lot of time and effort and tell my lawyer to file. Am I making a mistake? Yes, OP, in my opinion you definitely are. Let's find out. We have an update 2 days later. I'm done. I'm just completely done. This reconciliation attempt couldn't even make it to the end of day 3. I'm not going to be giving the exact details. I'm sure you'll all understand the reasons. I found out 2 things, both of which she lied straight to my face about. I've seen her iPhone and iPad communications. There's nothing there to make you think they've done anything more than flirting, as bad as that is. But they have another way to communicate that I found out about. This led to the second thing that I found out. She works an 8 to 5, Monday to Friday office job. I'm a firefighter/EMT, and I work 24/48 rotating shift. So 3 days a week, I'm away from home for 24 hours. I'm sure you guys can take those 2 facts and work the rest out. At this point, believing she was not in a physical relationship with this man would be an act of willful stupidity, which it probably was all along. I canceled my marriage counseling appointment this afternoon. I called the lawyer and told her to proceed. My soon-to-be ex-wife will be served next week or the week after. When she got home at about 2 this afternoon, I confronted her with what I had. Her face turned white. You can imagine how that conversation went. She was emotional, but even then wouldn't tell me the truth. The closest she got to saying was along the lines of, "If anything's happened, it's over now." I told her I was done. Done with the lies. Done with the BS. I told her the paperwork will be filed and she'll be served when it's ready. I was expecting more of her famous temper. Maybe she's just done as well. The last bit of the conversation, she was in tears. She says that she knows she effed everything up and doesn't even know why she did it. She finally apologized for losing her temper last Friday. She doesn't know why she did that either. She apologized for all of it. Neither of us is happy with this ending. But it can't end any other way when there's no truth and no trust. So I'm back at the Holiday Inn just for tonight. No bourbon this time. I'm miserable. But I knew, as much as I wanted to save it, this wasn't going to end any other way. This is just what had to be done. Also, if you're curious how OP cracked the mystery, apparently you can check if devices log into your Wi-Fi. And sure enough, OP checked his Wi-Fi and found an unknown device logging in every time he was at work and his wife was home alone. So sounds like someone had unauthorized access to his Wi-Fi and unauthorized access to his wife. At the very least, I'm glad things were resolved quickly. If my wife asked for an open relationship, the very next words out of my mouth would be, "I want a divorce." I'm not messing with that stuff, man. Poly may work for other people, but it doesn't work for me. Our next Reddit post is from Legal Advice. A few years ago, I was in an extremely abusive relationship. I'm not a professional comedian. I don't make money from this. Sometimes I get free drinks or something. And I have a day job that I'm not looking to quit. This is just a hobby. I go to open mic nights and tell jokes for fun. It's hard to explain the joke I told exactly without totally identifying myself, which I don't want to do. But it's a pretty dark story about this messed up thing that my ex did to me once. Although it's not a funny situation, the way I tell it is pretty funny and it gets a big laugh. I do not use my ex's name or any identifying info about him at any point. We live in a very large city. It's not like everyone automatically knows who I'm talking about. I'm not famous or anything. Anyway, an acquaintance of mine recorded me telling this joke and put it on Snapchat. And she apparently also knows my ex. My ex saw it on Snapchat and sent her a lot of messages demanding to know where this was and what else I said about him. She told him the bar that we were at first, but he kept pressing for more details and made her uncomfortable, so she blocked him and let me know what happened, and apologized profusely for letting him know what bar we go to. My ex DM'd me on Twitter, which is the only form of contacting me I didn't have him blocked on, and told me that he was going to sue me for defamation because I'm telling lies about him, and committing character assassination. He also sent me a cease and desist letter attached in my DMs as a photo, which restated his intent to sue me and compensate for the damages done to his reputation. Can he do this? First of all, the things I said were not lies. This is a true story about a horrible thing that actually happened. But more importantly, I don't use his name. Nobody knew that it was about him until he freaked out and told someone. Then, 1 month later, OP posted an update. I ignored him and continued doing what I was doing. Then, a few days after my Reddit post, he showed up at the bar while I wasn't there and asked around for me. They said that he seemed drunk, which is unfortunate as he allegedly got sober after our breakup. And they told him to F off and called me to warn me. Before I could even react to that, he contacted several people at my work via social media, including one person very high up in upper management who barely knows who I am. He sent them all the same opener, saying that he was trying to reach out to me and ask for my phone number or email and saying that it was urgent. 2 of my colleagues responded to this message that I know of. Both said something to the effect that they wouldn't be able to share my info, but they would let me know that he asked. He then began threatening them and warning them about me and telling them very sexually explicit things about me and asking if they were sure that I was the type of person they wanted to work with. I was really trying to avoid asking anyone at work for help, even though I knew they'd be nice about it. I didn't want to be the person who drags their drama into the office, but my ex did it for me. So I decided it couldn't hurt at this point to consult with a friendly coworker in legal to see what she thinks. She walked me through getting a restraining order and put me in touch with an attorney that practices in this arena if I end up needing it. I really hope not to. Literally 2 days after the temporary restraining order was granted and he had been served, he showed up at the bar again, drunk again, and this time I was there. It was honestly really surreal seeing him. They kicked him out, but he loitered outside and refused to leave, and the bartender and my friends and some random strangers were all guarding the door. It was quite the debacle. We called the cops and he was arrested. So I think I'm in the clear for now, although I know he's willing to break the law, so I'm not incredibly comfortable. I put up cameras in my apartment, my friends are walking me out to the car every night, my employer and colleagues are aware and supportive, even though I wish I could have kept this private. I am doing what I can. There wasn't a huge dramatic ending to all of this, but it seems like it should be over now. Here's hoping. All this guy had to do was keep his head down and no one would have known that it was him. Instead, all he managed to do was just give a comedian more material about him. What a doofus. Here's a pro tip for you. Don't pick a fight with the person holding the microphone. It's basically impossible to win. That was r/best of Redditor updates. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.